I still remember the rain that night. It wasn't just rain, it was ice needles stabbing straight through my thin hoodie, soaking the cardboard sign I held with shaking hands. Unemployed, 6 months. Anything helps. God bless. I was 22. Lily. Just a girl who used to dream about college and a little apartment with fairy lights. Now I was standing on the corner of Maple and Fifth. The same corner I'd begged on for 2 weeks straight. While cars hissed past and no one looked at me. 6 months earlier, my mom had remarried. Stepdad took one look at me and decided I was old enough to stand on my own. When Dad's life insurance ran out and I lost my waitress job because the cafe closed, they stopped pretending. One rainy evening, they put my suitcase outside the door, changed the locks, and sent a text. Don't come back. You're not our problem anymore. I read it under a streetlight, tears mixing with rain, and something inside me just broke. I tried everything. Temp agencies, coffee shops, even fast food places that said, no experience needed. Every door slammed shut. Savings gone in a month. Shelter full. Friends too busy with their own lives. So I learned how to beg without crying in front of people. I learned the smell of wet concrete and the sound of coins hitting my plastic cup. Sometimes one, sometimes none. Every night I whispered the same question to the dark. How did my life shrink to this? That night the rain was merciless. My fingers were numb. A woman in a warm coat dropped a $5 bill and hurried away like she was scared I'd follow. I stared at the crumpled note and felt the last spark of pride die. Then my phone battery at 3% lit up with a random local ad I'd never seen before. City Revitalization Program. Abandoned Victorian homes for $1. Must take immediate ownership. Back taxes paid. Serious buyers only. $1. One roof. One chance. I didn't sleep. By morning I'd begged, borrowed, and scraped together bus fare and the tiny fees. My heart hammered the whole ride to Willow Creek, a sleepy town 2 hours away. The realtor met me at the curb, eyebrows raised like she couldn't believe anyone showed up. The house stood at the end of a overgrown lane paint, peeling like old skin, windows cracked, porch sagging under vines. It smelled of damp earth and forgotten years. She handed me the key after I counted out the exact amount. Good luck, she said. Already walking away, I pushed the heavy door open. The groan it made echoed through empty rooms. Dust danced in the weak sunlight. No electricity, no heat, just silence so thick I could hear my own breathing. I dragged my suitcase inside, closed the door, and slid down the wall until I sat on the cold wooden floor. For the first time in months, I wasn't on the street. I cried until there were no tears left. The first week was pure survival. I cleaned by candlelight, hauled water from the backyard pump, patched leaks with plastic bags and tape I found in the basement. At night, the house whispered floorboards creaking upstairs when no one was there. Wind moaning through the chimney like a lonely voice. I told myself it was just an old building settling, but sometimes I'd wake with my heart racing. Sure, I'd heard footsteps. I kept fixing things anyway. Scraped wallpaper in the parlor and found faded roses underneath. In the kitchen, I pried open a stuck drawer and discovered a bundle of yellowed letters tied with string. They were all addressed to my dearest granddaughter. My hands shook as I read the first one. The writer Eleanor talked about baking cookies and missing her son, my father. Mom had always said Dad's family was dead. Lies. All of it. I kept working. The more I cleaned, the more the house seemed to wake up with me. I found old photos in the attic. A little girl who looked exactly like me at age 10, smiling beside an elderly woman with kind eyes. Eleanor. My grandmother. Why had Mom hidden her? One stormy evening, I was prying up a loose floorboard in the bedroom to fix a squeak. The board came away easily, too easily. Beneath it lay a small iron box, padlocked. My pulse thundered. I remembered a tiny key I'd found days earlier in the lining of an old coat downstairs. It fit. Inside the box, stacks of gold coins, antique jewelry heavy with real stones, and a thick envelope. But the real treasure was the letter on top, written in Eleanor's elegant handwriting. My sweet Lily, if you're reading this, You made it here the way I always hoped you would, when the world had taken everything else from you. Your mother kept us apart after your father died. She wanted the money I left him, and when I refused, she told you I was dead. I bought this house years ago and let the taxes pile up on purpose. I knew only someone truly desperate would ever claim it for $1. I knew it would be you. The coins and jewelry are yours. But the real fortune is the safety deposit box number written below. Inside are bearer bonds and early stock certificates I bought in the ADS companies that exploded decades later. They're worth well over $2 million now. All of it is in your name. The house itself is paid for the moment you live here 30 days. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you sooner, but I never stopped watching. You are stronger than they ever knew. Love forever, Grandma Eleanor. I sat there on the dusty floor, gold coins spilling across my lap, tears streaming down my face. $2 million. Not because I was lucky, because one woman who loved me had planned for the exact moment my own family would throw me away. The house wasn't abandoned. It was waiting. The next morning I took the first bus to the bank. The manager's eyes widened when I showed the paperwork. Within weeks, everything was transferred. I paid for electricity, bought tools, hired help to restore the Victorian to its former beauty. I kept one gold coin on a chain around my neck, a reminder of the night I almost gave up. I never went back to my mother's house. I sent her a single photo of me standing on the freshly painted porch, smiling, with the caption, "Found the family you tried to erase." She never replied. Today the house is warm and filled with light. I turned the front parlor into a little antique shop selling pieces I restored myself. Girls who are struggling sometimes stop by. I give them tea and tell them my story. I tell them the rain always stops. I tell them sometimes the thing that looks like the end is actually the beginning of everything you were meant to have. I still walk the porch at night sometimes, listening to the quiet creak of floorboards that now feel like home. And I whisper the same words my grandmother left me. You made it, Lily. You made it. The girl who once begged on the streets now owns a fortune and a future brighter than any fairy lights I ever dreamed of. If you're out there right now, cold, broke, hopeless, keep going. Your $1 house is waiting somewhere. Your hidden fortune is closer than you think, and when you find it, you'll finally understand what it feels like to come home. The next morning I took the first bus to the bank. The manager's eyes widened when I showed the paperwork. Within weeks, everything was transferred. I paid for electricity, bought tools, hired help to restore the Victorian to its former beauty. I kept one gold coin on a chain around my neck, a reminder of the night I almost gave up. I never went back to my mother's house. I sent her a single photo of me standing on the freshly painted porch, smiling, with the caption, "Found the family you tried to erase." She never replied.